All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to cover with you and break it all down how I generated over $8 million just from Instagram. And this is just my business with a couple different offers. And the first way I scaled this, which I'll explain a little bit in the strategy side of stuff, is by having one offer in one industry hitting 100K months, multiple months in a row before expanding. So stick with me through here. I'm going to break down 6 different categories and then give you my final thoughts on understanding how to get to $8 million just using Instagram. Now, if you don't know much about me, before I get into the whole background side of stuff, I'm actually the top DM ad spender in the world. ManyChat and Meta flew out a production team to my house about a year or so ago and did an entire documentary about me being the top spender for the DM ads, which I thought was pretty cool because when they sat me down and told me that, I was like, dude, there's no way. So I didn't expect it, but what I'm about to share with you here is actually going to be very relevant for making sure that you can get on track to getting to 8 million. Whether it's 8 million, whether it's your first 100K, whether it's your first million, I can teach you how to do over $8 million on Instagram. And for me specifically, I've had other businesses before this that has generated over 10 million online, but just 8 million through Instagram. So with that being said, I want to give you the quick background on me. Now, don't worry. I hate when people go and do a whole background story and it's hours long. It's going to be less than 3 minutes here. So I actually got started with marketing back in college when I was doing door-to-door sales. So what I was doing at the time is I would knock door to door and sell print and digital advertising. This was before digital became a thing. I saw the trend coming along, so I went all in on that. I used my biggest paycheck, which was closing a bowling alley in Lexington, Kentucky, for a 16K package, the biggest package we sold at the time. And I used all that money to invest into mentors and coaches. The first one I bought was a Tai Lopez course, and I just binge watched all of that in one weekend and then just went out and started selling my own product without knowing how to do the fulfillment. Then I used those checks to pay for fulfillment, and then I just kept going and going and going and started building a team from there. So that led to me running an agency, a marketing agency, since end of 2018 to like 2021, give or take. And then when I did that, I hit a huge burnout phase where I was running 2 different agencies. I was doing consulting, I was doing Airbnb investing, I was doing crypto investing. I was doing a lot at this time, and everything just kind of crashed and burned out at this moment because I was just like, I got to figure some shit out. So I took a little bit of like a 2 to 3 month hiatus to figure out what I really wanted to do. And that's where I got to where I'm at now with my program, Authority Income Accelerator, where we help coaches and info products scale. Since to date, we've helped over 2,000 online coaches scale. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in this video, is how you can scale. So the first things first, what was the strategy that we used to hit $8 million just from Instagram? Well, really, there's 2 things. The Instagram funnel, which I'm not going to break all that down in this video. If you guys want to check it out, there's some videos on my page. I'm actually in the process of creating a newer, updated version because the last one I created was probably about 6 to 8 months ago. And we're constantly evolving. We're always learning things as well, too. And then also SLO stands for self-liquidating offer. It's like a low ticket offer. So for example, somebody comes in, you charge them $27, there's some order bumps, and then there's a way for them to book a call and then become a client. The funny thing is with SLO, we notice the clients that come through here are usually the clients that ascend to our higher tier program. So we have a couple different offers, anywhere ranging from literally $27 all the way up to $50,000 plus, depending on what type of package they're in. The cool thing about this was 90% of this all came from the IG funnel. So I'll break that down. If there's any questions, I guess you guys have specifically on the IG funnel, let me know now in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them, or maybe even just do a specific video on it. But the back end behind this was emails and YouTube. My YouTube has never been super consistent, if I'm being honest with you guys, and that's why I'm like really ramping it up now. I think I found more of a flow that works, just like unedited, raw videos, just giving you guys the truth. Like this video, I'm not even gonna go back and edit. So if I mess up, you guys are gonna see the real shit, right? And that's what I think has been helpful for nurturing people, but we're gonna start turning YouTube into more of a top of funnel strategy because it's been more of just like a middle of funnel. And then emails are more of like just middle of funnel as well, which they've done all right. I mean, I'd say maybe less than 1%, 2% of people have actually came from email. And I know if you're watching this, you're an email guy, you're like, oh, you should be getting so much more. Our strategy is different. That's why it works so well with the IG funnel. And unless you've done 8 million through email, I don't want to hear the advice, quite frankly, because I've hired a lot of email people that promise the world and then just never deliver on it. So our email is good. We use it more of a nurturing, if anything. Quick little note for you. I put on here, first 100K a month, you only need one strategy. This is where everybody messes up, in my opinion. They get the shiny object syndrome. Your number one thing until you're hitting 100K a month, 3 months in a row, is this one word right here called focus. Not many people can do this one word here, which is focus. Just focus on what you're doing. Perfect one offer first. If you have multiple offers, you're going to confuse your audience and they're going to come back and be like, oh, well, this. And trust me, as we've scaled into having more offers, it's confused. We've noticed it being confusing, not even just for our prospects, but for team members and the sales reps. So you've really got to keep it simple. And that's why if your goal is 100K a month, you can easily get to 100K a month with one offer in one industry using just the IG funnel. Now there's other funnels I teach on this channel as well too, but that's the main one that's been printing the most consistent for us, that if I had to suggest anybody get into to have their first 100K a month, I'd say it'd be the IG funnel. Going on to number 3, the team. So at the height of my current company, my biggest team was around 20. I think right now we have 17 or 18 people on the team. I have a video that's about to be released as well on like an org chart. So going over like the CEO up here, COO, head of sales, head of marketing, and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that video. I'll break it down in more detail. But the big thing when you want to look at this, and again, every industry, every offer is different, but for us, on average, I'll be honest with you, we've averaged around a 40% margin. And keep in mind, this 40% margin is where I am pretty much fully removed and I just do content and ads and create ads. It's really what my day consists of right now. We have more fulfillment packages where people can get more access to me, but for our accelerator program and stuff like that, we have some of the best coaches out there that have all gone through our program, had success, and coached people on success in doing it. So like the secret with that is if you really want to remove yourself, you have to get really, really good fulfillment. And really good fulfillment comes from a really good, simple process. Keyword there, simple. So again, this ranges, I'd say between 40% is probably average. We've had some months, again, when I'm first starting this up and I'm a 1 to 2, 3 person team, my margins were like 70 to 80%. But as you bring on team members, your margin's gonna dip. I have a really good video on this on my channel as well too. If you want to check that out, just go to Justin Saunders on YouTube and type in margin. It'll break down where your margin should be and different ways that you can go about it. The 2 biggest things for me recently is bringing on a full-time COO. Shout out to Alec. He started as one of my first students, clients that I've ever had in my business when I was doing agency coaching back in the day. And he's been with me from literally, he's bought everything that I've ever had. And he's just been the best client I've ever had. So I basically sold him on coming to work for my company and putting all of his time and attention into my company rather than his own. And he's worked his way up as COO. He started as a CSM and then became head of CSM and then moved all the way up to COO. So he manages pretty much the day-to-day operations of the company at this point. And that's again why I can go to a margin of around 40% because we're pushing bigger numbers. So margin's kind of like a fugazi type of term sometimes, I think, because people are like, oh, you should have 80% margin. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'll have 80% margin when I'm doing 50 to 100K a month, but when I'm pushing 500K a month to $1 million a month, my margin is going to dip because I can't do that. I can't fulfill on $1 million a month business if I have a small team. And I think people that come through here and say that, it's like, be careful of the advice you get. I see some people online, they're like, yeah, I do 500K a month. I have a 5-person team and, I only work 4 hours a week. Meanwhile, they take all the sales calls, they do all the setting, they do all the fulfillment. It's nearly impossible. Now, granted, there's probably a small percent of people that can do that, but most people that say that run the other way. So number 4, custom. This is why most people fail. I'm not going to get into like the nitty gritty on everything on here because this is more of like a overview of what we did to get to 8 million. But that's why I really want your guys' help to let me know in the comments what you want more of. What can I break down more of? Because I'm on a content kick right now where I got the whiteboard and the Google Docs of just providing you guys content to help you get more sales in your business. Because again, transparently, if I can make you sales from my free content, you're going to come back and you're going to want me to help you scale your business. That's the way I look at it. If not, no worries at all. But why most people fail? They don't understand their exact avatar. What I really mean by this is everybody has a different buying journey when it comes to buying online. I was sitting down with one of my friends the other day and he's in the trading space and he has a really good offer, but he's afraid of running ads for it because the industry is so saturated with people that are over-promising and under-delivering. There's a lot of people, especially in the trading space, it's night and day. So we sat down and I told him a specific way that you have to speak to those type of avatars. So like, for example, one of the things we talked about is like the trading space, you can't just run call to action ads anymore. You used to, but you have to educate and build trust with them. So you have to have a specific process and understand your business. And that's why when people hire us, it's one of the first things we do is we analyze the 2,000 plus clients that we've worked with and say, these are the buying journeys that we have with these type of clients. So this is a type of structure. This is a type of marketing. This is a type of business you want to build around it because it's not a one size fits all business, right? Like some of you are on here trying to like copy my exact business and then it doesn't work. It's because my business is different. It's built for the most competitive industry in the market. Coaching coaches on how to coach coaches, right? It's literally the most competitive market in the industry. So you have to build it differently than you would for a trading business or a home service business, whatever it might be. Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it and if you understand ads the right way, and this is where a lot of people mess up, ads are just eyeballs, right? Like when you're running an ad, you're just getting an eyeball to get attention for you. So there's a lot of characteristics that can go wrong. For example, if you're doing the IG funnel, if your Instagram page isn't optimized the right way, you're not going to convert people. If you're not posting on your stories every day, you're not going to convert people. Same thing if you're just getting people into the email leads and you're getting emails, you have to have everything dialed in. And that's where a lot of people mess up is they just they think one ad's going to solve all their problems. But instead, it's really understanding the customer journey is really what's going to make your business skyrocket. Which goes into number 5 is a healthy business. Number 1 secret I got for you. And I'll tell you first, like my mistakes with this. So when I first built AIA, we were really big on reoccurring. We got a lot of people on payment plans and it was a very sustainable, healthy business. And then I got into I paid one of my buddies that was doing double of what we were doing. And his biggest thing was, hey, you need a much higher cash collection rate. You need to be collecting 80% of all cash that comes through. So I was like, you know what, that makes sense. So what we did, we went to just only pitching PIFs. And what happened when we did that was we had some of our biggest months because we had all of our reoccurring stacking on top of all of our PIFs. But the problem was if you have 1 or 2 things that go wrong and you're having a slow sales on the front end, which believe me, it will definitely happen. I don't care how special you are, it will happen. If you don't have that reoccurring, your business is going to feel like it's failing. So I think there's a healthy mix between reoccurring and PIFs. I tell my team, I don't want only PIFs. I want reoccurring. I like PIFs coming through. And I think it's a really good way to start off, especially if you're in the start of the business. And again, this is why everybody's business is different. But if you're first starting your business, the number 1 thing you should be focused on is cash flow, right? Once you stack up enough cash, you can build more towards a healthy business. So if I had to start over and consult with someone, let's say they were in the fitness space or something like that, right? I would say, let's go heavy on PIFs, not 100%, but let's get a lot of pay in full so you can stack cash in your business. So you can have that bottom line of what your bank account is. So you have a healthy standard for your business. But once you kind of even it out and you really want to build into a team, have that safety net where you have really good reoccurring. And a lot of that, I'm not going to get too much into it on here. A lot of the reoccurring is your back end offer. So if you can stack pretty heavy on the PIFs and then have a really good back end offer that has really good reoccurring, you're going to have a very healthy business model. So that really kind of comes into the final thoughts of, scaling to 8 million plus just from one Instagram account. We've got some cool things we're going into play with expanding, which I'll talk to you guys about in the future videos. So if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm trying to just give you guys as much free game as I can to really help you scale. Final thoughts. Most people quit before they even get here, or even before they have a shot. They have the shiny object syndrome of, oh, better offer, better industry, this. I see somebody else doing this. And every industry is different. That's what you got to understand. The real power comes with focus. If you guys are big Hormozi fans, that's one of the things I really respect about him, is he constantly says you have to focus. You can have one offer making you $100K a month profit. You can make bank with one offer. But the problem is people see they're too much consumers online, and they see someone else doing better, and they're like, oh, let me go do their offer. Let me go do this. Let me structure my business like that. You just need one structure to really scale, which really goes into the focus side of stuff of staying dialed, really just in every area of your life. If you are dialed on business, but you're not dialed on your health or your relationships, you are going to suffer. You're not going to have the good life. That's one thing I really respect about Tai Lopez, is one of my mentors, is he's constantly teaching the good life. I study all of his stuff. He's one of the guys that has really changed my life, because like I said, when I first made my first sale, I dumped all my money into his courses, his programs and stuff like that. And I really respect that about him, is always talking about the good life. Because for me, I don't care to become a billionaire. Some of you might, maybe that's your goal. For me, it's not. I just want to have a good life and make really good money while I'm doing it. And if you structure your business understanding what your North Star is, you can just reverse engineer it. So the other day, actually, we've had 5 VIP days in the past 2 weeks, where some of my top clients, we give them a one-time offer to come to my house and sit here like I'm doing a whiteboard and record it with them and go over. The first thing we do with all of them is going over what their North Star is. What do they actually want in their business? And ironically, no one really knows. So biggest takeaway that you can walk away from this video is, if you don't know what your North Star is, take some time to write it down. Take some time to figure out what you really want. What is your ideal lifestyle? How much do you actually have to be making? Because chances are it's probably a lot less than what you really think. And I think social media really kind of messes with that, where it's like you see people doing $1 million plus a month and they're like, oh, I live the best life. But you can for sure. And that's my goal, is I'm going to get to $1 million plus a month. But I want to do it with a good life. I don't want to be a slave to my business. I don't want to hate my life waking up every morning, right? I want to do it because I'm passionate. I love doing it. And that's where I built the business where I'm at now, is I get to sit back and just shoot content. And I get paid a lot of money to shoot content. That is, in my eyes, a perfect type of vehicle. Now, again, everybody might be different, but you have to understand where you're going. And to get to where you want to go, you're not going to be able to get there by yourself. You can hit certain milestones, but I think of business as like a video game. And in order to level up, you have to find the person that's on the next level and learn from them. So for me, getting to $8 million a month, I'm not going to sit here and be like, dude, I did all this myself. No, I spent well over $250,000 in mentors and coaches and courses to learn this stuff. Even today, I'm still buying stuff. If I see a low ticket product, I'm like, oh, that might be beneficial, I'll buy it. I mean, just in the last week, I paid 3 different mentors. So I have budget that's allocated towards learning. And again, depending on where you're at, everyone's starting somewhere different. I started with $0 in my name. I actually went negative $32,000 in personal credit card debt into just paying coaches and mentors, because I bet on myself. And I think that's where you have to go, is you really have to bet on yourself. I talk to my sales team sometimes, and we get some people that are really good fits, but they don't have the money. They don't have the money to get started, and they're not willing to bet on themselves. So my biggest advice for you is, if you're not happy where you're at right now, figure out a way to get the money to hire the right type of person, because they're going to be able to get you there. And if I'm looking back on it, yeah, going $32,000 in debt, it was risky, but I knew where I wanted to go. And I knew if I could bet on myself, I'd be hitting $8 million inside my business. And again, granted, to give you context on that, done well over 10 million online. It's just, I'm talking about one business. This isn't including the agency or anything else in between that. So I hope this is valuable for you guys. Let me know if you're still on here watching this far into it. First off, I appreciate you, but let me know your main takeaways and let me know what I can do and break down more out of these 6 categories that'd be more beneficial for you.